Welcome to the last public chapter. What a shame, what a shame. Gordon! So it's like, or something like that. The following message, it's basically the update, and it's like, oh no, the area is bigger than before. Because I think at first it was like 75 miles, and now it's like bigger. I like this background detail, it's very cute. It's gotten worse. It's gotten far, far worse than I could have possibly imagined. It says Gordon Freeman. I do like that Gordon Freeman is like, no, Olivia, we're going. This is probably going to be it, right? She's like, no, we're going to Lambda, Olivia. I live on Earth. You might go home, but I would like to stay, like to keep this place inhabitable too. Somehow, what I started in this chest chamber is expanding further beyond just a few dozen miles, like I originally thought. No, my mistakes are far-reaching. There's almost going to be an entire sequel about it, and it's all my fault. Stand in a small corner office, the space seemingly forgotten by time. Listen, if you want to write a good story, you don't explain that it's forgotten by time, you just describe how everything's covered in dust and grime and cobwebs and all the corners, but even the cobwebs are empty. Like all, like everything else we found so far. Yeah, the fun part is when you do get to that train section, it's very empty. Like, it really is like you suddenly go from, like, the active labs to, oh, this is something else. You are told that it's decommissioned, though, I think. They'd been left on for some reason. Once the scientist had given us our orders, he'd opened the red blast door and quickly hurried to the old rail networks. His words still lingered with me. He had known that I was a part of this. Anyone worth their mind in gold knows that only certain people wear an HEV suit. An HEV suit, because it's HEV. It's all phonetic. I'm amongst such a small group, and even then, I can only name Dr. Green and Dr. Cross. One moment, please. One real brief moment. I need to look something up. Because I think those are the characters from Decay, right? It's Colette Green and Gina Cross! Haha! It's the characters from Decay. That's so cute. They do wear HEV suits, if I recall correctly. Actually, let me see. I think there's a picture. Yeah. They wear HEV suits. That's just neat. That's just neat. God, I haven't thought about them until now. I hope they're alright. They probably are. They're video game protagonists like you. The whisper-like promises of the Lamb that seems somehow holding the key to stopping whatever this is seems almost too good, and yet all too possible. There's been only limited interaction between my department and theirs, especially considering how they're on the opposite side. Opposite side of the facility. Yeah, this guy's two proofreaders. Primarily, all we did. I don't feel like primarily and all we did is compatible. It was almost like a bartering system. It's just how Black Mesa is. Internal divisions under one company umbrella, always competing for more and more funds for our research. We got strange samples to test and in return provided information. Rinse and repeat. How they hold the key to fixing this mess is beyond me. Because they got those samples, because they have a portal! Shaking my head as the broadcast repeats, I step out into the dark, cavernous tunnel just outside my tiny abode. There's a textbook example of abandoned to this. You could tell me that I'm walking around some kind of abandoned Detroit steel mill, and I believe you. Concrete walls wrap around as dozens of differing sizes of pipe hang and hiss from above. Dim incandescent bulbs line the walls, providing only the bare minimum of light. For me, for me not to use my... Jesus Christ, what a long sentence. Basically, it's dim and he doesn't need to use a flashlight. While in the middle of the room, two lines of track, a singular orange cart laying on the end of a blinking green light, seemingly beckoning for someone to hop on. I really need to stop reading this verbatim and just start translating it. To think that not too long ago, the actual idea of freedom seemed to always be the idea that our actual freedom was feet away feels foolish. Even if we got out somehow, what's going on here is going far beyond the walls of the complex. It'll follow you home. My promise to Olivia is as dead as it can be. Shot and blown to pieces by those shoulders. That's a mean thing to say considering soldiers just save your ass. The girl had been silent the entire time since we'd left, even carefully navigating our way down through the small maze of abandoned elevator shafts corridors. She hasn't said a word. I don't need to have a psychology degree to know that something is wrong. It's a defining trait of hers. When something seems to keep troubling her, she falls into a quiet, reclusive state. There's so much I can try to pry at her mind, especially given my non-verbal situation. It's almost like it's a disability. Certainly, our sudden change in priorities isn't sitting too well with her either. But that will have to wait until later. We have to keep moving. This is where you say we need to keep moving, because you're repeating verbs. It's a little awkward. Clambering onto the cart, I get a quick scan of the controls. They seem rather basics. A key and a lever, something any untrained laborer can run. Giving the key a turn, the sound of humming electric motors and the now solid green light indicates we're ready to go. Soon enough, we're underway, trundling along the rail system. There was a time long ago when I was a kid and I really liked trains. Of course he's autistic. We had a rail line not too far from where I live. In a strange kind of way, I'm my own little conductor for the moment. Living that childhood moment of imagination as the wind begins to gently flutter against my face and the track clunk under us. It's a real nice moment to like break of action after you've just been exploded. It's like, it's quite a little moment. If only it's not a universe. If only it didn't come with a universal scale level, with a universe level disaster in the background. The sound of shuffling pulls my attention away from the control. No doubt Olivia's getting comfortable. My earlier thoughts tend to bubble up again. The pit of guilt welling up as I can't help but feel all terrible, knowing all too well that I made up another white lie. We're right here. We were right there. Sun felt so good against my skin. I don't believe in fate or God, but at the same time, it feels like someone has it out for us. It doesn't have to be God, it can just be a guy in a suit. Although, admittedly, G-Man's actual involvement is extremely nebulous. And then there's those two Hecko soldiers that's supposed to let us go after one helped me. Hard to believe that part. Still, my promises of getting Olivia home, or at least out of here, seem farther and farther. This fic is never gonna finish. What can even be going through her head right now? I bet she hates me. I hate my... Oh, or whatever they do. I kind of forgot. I don't know. I feel those. I like that they come back in the Zen section though. That's kind of cute. See them again. A little revisit. I wish those weird spiky plants also showed up. I know it's a bit weird. None of the life forms seem to be. Well, come on, you know what I mean. My hands immediately shoot for my weapon as a familiar chirp of the dog creatures echoes around. To my befuddlement, I spot the thing hopping alongside us in a parallel path, almost like a neighborhood dog chasing after the mailman. Realizing it's not any danger to us, I lower my weapon and let out a quiet sigh. Taking my hand down my face, I blink a few times. Fatigue is certainly settling in quite well, especially with the adrenaline wearing off. You mean the injected adrenaline. The fact that the brief state of unconsciousness I was in was the best kind of rest I got says something, and not in a good way. I mean, as far as the game is concerned, I think you're awake for like at least 2-ish days. I'm tired. Maybe if I can find a safe place ahead, I'll lose my... Gordon, stop that! So, fun fact, so there's a couple of fun things that happen here. One, you do in fact crash into several creatures, but if you don't stop the car towards the end, you do get launched out, and it's hilarious. You do get launched into radioactive goo, and if you stop yourself with air control, you hit the ground and crash. But hey, the sounds of flesh on metal explode throughout the tunnel. What feels like a warm chicken pot pie being thrown at me scatters all over my face, causing me to hiss and hunch forward. A horrible, warm, and smelly cocktail of ammonia and sewage immediately overwhelms me as I claw my eyes, trying to get whatever liquidy warm paste out. A few dry heaves echo out behind me as the weight of Olivia slips off my back as she seems to get out of the harness. It'll take a few seconds before I rub the last of whatever that is out of my eyes, blinking and sliding back on my dirty lenses. Looking down, I'm wet with a spat of green and yellow chunks scattered all around the front of a car that my suit, particularly a large bit of whatever he run over, lays on the ground between Olivia and I. I think we just roadkilled one of those dog creatures. Ugh. My eyes dart down to the baryonyx as she lets out a disgusted choke. Looks like she's got her fair share of blood and guts on her, too. I'm gonna try my best to help, only to have my hands swatted away. I'm taken aback. She must have been subconscious or anything. She doesn't even falter in a second, trying to clean herself up. Once again, I find myself wanting to offer some kind of apology, but there's no words I can give. That's very cute. Implies you're, like, speechless, but he literally can't talk. He is without speech. Honestly, part of me is expecting her to pop off on another one of her tirades like before, but said she just cleans herself up as best she can. She looks mad, sure. It's almost like she's pretending that she doesn't care anymore. And like many men, I find myself at a crossroads on how to proceed. I feel like this would be a great point to like point out that this is how men are generally expected to act. Like, I know this isn't the fucking fic to have a talk about like gender expectations, but it'd be a fun moment for him to go like the only people I've ever seen act like this are men. I've never seen a woman act like this before. I don't know. I mean, I know women also have to like pretend and everything. This is not like it's unique to men, but I feel like that'd be a fun contrast to draw for a guy who's surrounded exclusively by men in his workplace. My difficulty with women, no doubt, haven't exactly played to my strengths over time. This example being a key point. Should I try to approach her again or give us some distance? It's obvious you talk about her like she's not a fucking teenager first, and a woman second. Staring down as she finishes the last of her meager attempts to clean herself, I made my choice. Dejected huff, back to the controls. To my disgust, they're all covered in green guts and blood. Why would it splatter upwards? My hands brush over the controls, but all I get is a flurry of sparks, like cheap firework. Oh, that can't be good. I don't think you can stop towards the layer half because it's like a set route and it wants to finish it. That can't be good. A metallic shrill screams ahead, snapped my attention forward. Dead before us sits a lowered barrier, a singular yellow strobe light flashing away as it tries to warn us. There's a startled gasp from behind, as no doubt she's figured out what's going on. A rush of fear with adrenaline course. Man, you need to stop with the adrenaline. Courses through my vein as I slam the lever back to the 0 mark in some vain hope it slows us down, but nothing happens. Oh boy. Throw myself behind the console just before it slams into the barrier, sending splinters of wood everywhere. I thought it was blood. The impact sounded like a singular gunshot. Okay, we're okay. Everyone's okay, right? Looking back, I thankfully find Olivia having pressed herself as close to the floor as possible, covering her head with her hands. Mercifully, she seems okay. She looks up after the immediate explosion of wood. Bracing myself against the sparking ruins of the cart, I stand up and look ahead while my brain starts running a billion calculations a second. We're on a runaway tram cart in a completely abandoned part of the facility that's filled with monsters and soldiers that want to kill us. Can it get any worse? Wait, why is the room suddenly green? True to my observation, there's a strange green hue that's seemingly reflecting off the walls. I try to look for the source, only to have it shoved into the forefront of my vision. Not all that far, and closing rather fast, honestly. Oh, you moved into like a barrier, and now you're moving. Okay, I thought you had hit like the end point. There's a bright, glowing sea of green toxic waste. How do you know it's toxic, buddy? It might just be green. The tracking ahead having collapsed downwards into its bubbling goo. I find this part interesting, and I think the Black Mesa does a much better job of communicating. Yeah, it's supposed to be a continuing tunnel. I think in the original, it's like implied that it just ends there for some reason. The track having collapsed downwards into its bubbling goo. My brain flicks between Olivia as she starts to slowly sit up, and the passing walls of our side. We're going just slow enough. I panicky slap my head over and point a finger at it on the side of the cart. She's being confused. What? My fingers curl upwards in hidden frustration. I repeat the gesture with far more urgency. Oliver look at me like I'm crazy. She looks behind her, still confused. God, there's no time! With a swift and decisive lunge, the orange gloves of my suit. Your gloves are black. Listen, I know I'm like the last person in the entire fucking universe who should point this out, but I'm pretty sure the gloves of your suit are black. They at least are in Half-Life 1, and I haven't exactly been tracking Black Mesa's gloves. So let's take a look. There should be a picture. Yeah, they're black. Your gloves are black, motherfucker. What are you talking about? And these mistakes are getting me, because they're all like, dude, you have proofreaders. You should catch this. Around the series of straps to the front of Olivia's vest. Oh, what are you? Ow! The whole world is only tumbling as I tackle us both off the moving cart. Everything spins in circles. Yeah, that's what it tends to do when you spin. Almost like a person rolling down a hill on their side. Yeah, why are you describing it like it's like that's not the case? Only this time with sharp metallic rails. Not that sharp, you're in the suit. We careen down the tracks for a few feet before coming to a collective halt. A wheezy gasp lifts out of me as the sudden and dense weight of Olivia rolls off my side and onto the ground next to us. The ground next to you. She rolls next to you. Why would that be plural? It's fuck you, man. Surprisingly, the whole tunnel's rather quiet. That's the distant beeping of a siren. Are you insane? There it is. Hissing, I slowly sit up, getting a face full of a rather angry dinosaur. What the fuck was that for? Olivia demands, harshly stabbing my chest plate as she gets up into my business. Simply raise a finger towards the runaway cart. The cart does stop, but I imagine the author's going to take some liberties and have it crash into the goop. Because, I always felt it was kind of weird it stopped. It stopped because I imagined the programming to get it to go into the water was more complex. But I feel you'd get the same result, really. Just in time for the both of us to watch us careen into the air like a monster truck. Like at a monster truck show, and slam nose first into the glowing sea of waste. Olivia has his fix on the card as it slowly bubbles and sinks into the lakes before she turns back to me. Furious scowl melting into a sudden and dumbfounded look of realization. My brow raises, give her the best. I told you so. Look, buddy, you are not. Okay, listen. Okay, listen. Okay, I need you to understand this. I'm not the world's biggest fan of Fellowship, but I do like one particular ability in that game that we're gonna bring up. Where is it? The Squire gets this really funny ability. It's called the Voice of Reason. You alone are the voice of reason in this insane world. When you offer advice to another player and they ignore it, you are filled with hope during any attempts to bail them out of whatever mess they got themselves into. Basically, if you could say, I told you so after your action, you have hope to do it, and that's basically advantage, which is pretty good. I just think it's fucking adorable. It's like... Where were we? A green hand raises up and slaps me across the cheek. Smack. Clink. If I we're back to Olivia's POV, by the way. If I can go the entire rest of my life without seeing another acid lake, I'll be damn happy. That's 2 right now after another one we've almost fallen into. But hey, what's one more turd on my plate of crap that's been constantly served before me? First I got here, get zapped, get shot, then blown up. Why not some toxic burns and radiation exposure? It's not like I'm going anywhere anytime soon. Don't worry, the radiation will kill you eventually. The bullets will kill you right now. Already the headache of decide Already, the headache now deciding to press itself against me. Jesus fucking Christ, what a sentence. Decides to let off a few angry pulses. The hell this place has put me through. Mental and physical take its toll. I can't believe how much I hate everything. And I may be sitting on the cause's back. My gaze lowers, glowering at the back of their head. He's a man and he's very explicit about it. Yeah, he's going to have to earn that apology for the fucking cart deal. Even if he saved our life, I wouldn't have killed him to explain what he was going to do before he did it. Honestly. Just for fucking once, can I get 2 seconds without being in a life-threatening situation? I mean, when you were talking to the guy, you had a relatively quiet moment. You went down an elevator, it was relatively quiet. Not too long after the close call with the rail cart, we powered through a weird series of balancing actions and half-baked parkour sessions filled with acid-spitting monsters and rivers of more toxic waste. All the while, all I can do is hold on to the human's back for dear life and pray to rap to Jesus. I'm not going to fall in and become another casualty. As he steps out, we're met with a truly epic chasm spanning the entire circumference of the giant tube in the middle of the room. In the middle, surrounded by the green strip, is the words Silo D printed in massive white lettering. Oh, they're in the silo. Man, we're skipping ahead. We're taking big steps because there's like a whole little. I guess those aren't really interesting from a narrative perspective, especially now because we've kind of it's just some bull squids. Who cares, right? They've dealt with those. Uh, is that for a rocket? I ask aloud, letting my thoughts bleed out a bit. Gordon gently nods, walking across the catwalk that wraps around. My gaze wanders, noting the 3 bridges seeming different levels that all connect at different points of the tube. How are we supposed to figure out where to go next? All the weirdo who pissed himself warned us was to find the Lambda team wherever they are. After all, they have the magic spell to fix all of this mess, don't they? Maybe if I wish hard enough, I can get a pony and somehow teleport back home. I think that's gonna happen. The invisible weight that's been resting on me since meeting with the guy only feels like it's getting heavier and heavier with every passing foot we move forwards. I like how you say it like you're taking any fucking steps. It's the feeling I had the most. Helplessness. Something like nothing feels like it's in my control at this point. I'm just strapped to Gordon's back while he tries to play hero, and I get to watch while I get messed up even more. I wanted to go home. Hell, I would have just. Hell, I would have even taken just getting out of here. It was right there. I'm stuck here again. Every fiber in my body wants to scream out and curse the world. Curse the sick fuck who brought me here in the first place. I'm not very sure I can take much more of this. Man, I'm tired. Hoot hoot. Hoot hoot. Familiar barks announce the arrival of... This is kind of cute that they'll come running at you. Good for a grenade or a satchel if you have it. Use those satchels, baby. Also use the grenades. You get a whole bucket of them soon. The familiar barks announce the arrival of a pack of sonic dogs and break my thought of my building exhaustion. Man, Jesus, you have 2 proofreaders, right? No, this one doesn't apparently. There's a lot of blank spaces too. Though they're nothing when I'm with Gordon and my own guns filling them with bullets. Even one does a strange hop before falling over the railing and down the chasm with a shrieking bellow. Actually, I think I hit some of them a few times. That's not worrying at all. I mean, hey, if you go back home, you can become a cop. I mean, I doubt that's like the last thing you want to be, or might qualify for considering the wheelchair, but a sudden booming and muffled groan bounces off the walls, droning on like a distant animal in the zoo. We freeze, the 2 of us sharing a look, equally confused what the hell just did that. The noise repeats. This time my ears manage to get a rough fix on it. It's coming from there, I mutter, slowly raising a finger to the massive silo in the middle of the room. The closer we listen in, the more I can actually start to hear a distant thumping, like a stereo turned up too far that you can almost feel through the walls. Cautiously, Gordon continues his pace forward, our eyes glued tightly to the cylinder. Only to make things better, we make it to the end of the catwalk, curving to the left and leading directly into the silo itself. We don't actually have to go in there, right? Mahuma doesn't respond. Gordon, I verbally press, adding a small extra word. We're not going in, are we? His speckled face turns to meet my own. A deeply apologetic look stretches across his features. The whole helplessness flares up again. As my building headache thumps, this time burning bright like a bright flare in my chest. That's not a headache! So I stare down at the man's worried green eyes. Every fiber of me actually wants to say something here, like, no way, man, or let's find another way, man. I'm not going into a giant tube with a lever, but I can't. I just can't. What's even the point anymore? We'll end up in some other stupid bullshit at some point again. Letting out a sigh that very clearly indicates my feelings on the matter, I drag my hand down my face with a droning groan. Fucking fine. With my blasted approval given, my Rai turns his attention back to the silo as he starts to make his way across the bridge. Naturally, my eyes wander upwards, peering up towards the seemingly endless shaft that surrounds the place. Well, it seems like it manages to go on forever. How do we get this deep? It's not often that I actually have time to think, considering almost every second of my existence here is trying not to die. But times like this make me wonder, what really went down before it all went to crap? What the hell is this place? Why are you testing rockets, interdimensional portals, and whatever the hell half of that was? Boom, boom, boom. Don't do that, Zeph. It's gonna fuck up way too fast. As we draw closer, the strange noises from earlier only get louder and louder. This makes me feel just great. Tightening the grip around my pistol, I flick my attention around, trying to make sure nothing gets a jump on us. I can't help but notice the signs reading Silo D control, and a rather clear no admittance during launch cycle. It's admittance. There's no extra. Come on, man. Shouldn't your spell check pick up all this stuff? Oh, that's fucking hilarious. That's hilarious. Someone found an ad in 2026 that has like a Google Plus. Yep, definitely for a rocket. Weird. Maybe they're launching candy corns. With a twist, the metallic door slides into the wall, revealing a rather small room leading into the silo. I flinch in the harness as the door brushes up against my tails to close behind us. Hey, do you have any idea what this place was for? I mean, besides rocket stuff. Gordon wobbles his hand in a mixed gesture as he moves for the only other door in the room. Whatever it is, I hope we can get through without any problems. I mean, you leave this place such a weird way. You leave it through like the exhaust section. It's so weird. Nodding in agreement, the human twists the lever on the door. The shotgun's explosive blast explodes in the small room. Yeah. Well, was a zombie standing before the door. It's now a grotesque pile of body parts that used to be human. I can't even give it a passing glance as Gordon just walks over the corpse, breaching into the inside of the cylinder. Breaching in. Why do you have to say into the inside? Just say you breach into the cylinder. Stop saying broaching. Hold on, we're looking this shit up. Does broaching mean any of that even? Or are you just mistyping breaching all the fucking time? Broach. It's a verb, not the noun. To make a hole in, to open, to pierce. It's a really weird way. I mean, I guess it's used to broach the English line. I've just never seen it used in a modern context like this. To turn sideways, whatever, man. Broaching into the inside of the cylinder, it doesn't really look all that special, or appealing, in fact. The walls are filthy, covered in a mixture of dirt, dust, and rust. Shouldn't they be covered in exhaust fumes and random heavy metals? It's a launch tube. All of which try their best to hide the faded and worn white paint underneath, running perpendicular to the diamond-patterned floor beneath us. What the fuck does that even mean? Twang, twang, twang. Gordon presses on. It's impossible for me to. It's impossible for me to not to ignore. You mean it's possible for you to ignore the ever loud or rhythmic banging that the only wall to our right seems to separate. What the fuck are you talking about? The wall on your right is the only thing that separates you. Shut up, man. Kind of freaks me out. But even in my perched up position on the harness, the vibrations from whatever's on the other side still find their way up to my chest. You'd think the harness would dampen it. Or Gordon. I guess Gordon's suit's a pretty solid object, so it translates. It resonates. It transports the signal well. God, I don't even know what's in there. Because whatever it is, chances are it's probably alive somehow. Yeah, that's what I need. Just another. Something's grabbing onto my tail! Ah! I shout, snapping the appendage up, turning around only to have my neck partially snapped by the speed which Gordon turns to face her assailant. Like the stars out of her eyes, I realize what, or rather who, touched me. Curled up against the wall, to a small pile against the innermost wall, is a scientist. Curled up. Is it curled up into a pile? Is it curled up? Of course he's curled up. Fucking hell, dude. You're really dropping some stitches today. Scientist is leaning against a curved wall, his guts soaked in a small pool of blood. Oh, his gut, I thought. No doubt his own. Please, he hoarsely whispers, reaching up and taking hold of Gordon. You must! A splatter of blood comes up as he harshly coughs, coating the suit's forearm. Man, that stink's covered in everything. The man's eyes plead upwards as he strains his voice. Fire the rocket engine! Destroy the damn thing! Before it gets any larger! Another cough racks the poor man's body before it collapses over, unmoving. Gordon and I simply stare down. A dying wish. A request that he'd given with his last breath alive. It feels weird that, in a way, it's not my first time hearing one. I mean, I didn't know it was a last wish at the time. This one was all more panicked and guided than the other one. From him. As Gordon rises to his full height, he gives the man's form one last slow glance before turning around and continuing down the hall like nothing happened in the first place. Meanwhile, the passing thoughts of last wishes on my mentor has stuck with me in an ever-growing mental storm. I appreciate that we're tying this back to, this is a fun little tie back. I try my best not to think of home. The more I think, the more I'm gonna make myself sad. And if I'm sad, I'm probably gonna mess something up and get us both killed. But asking myself not to think of home equally racks my brain in a sick, endless cycle. But I'd always told myself there's plenty of time to think about home when I'm safe and up on the surface on my way out of here. And here I still am, trapped in a giant cylinder of concrete with a giant. Don't giant twice. Here I am, trapped in a cylinder of concrete, trapped with a giant. Trapped. Okay, let's try this. Here I am, trapped in a giant concrete cylinder with a massive creature on the other end. If you're in the cylinder, what other end? It's in there with you. It's not like on the other side of the cylinder, it's at the center. What would everyone think of me if I do get out of here? Before my brain even has a chance to think about how I'm going to explain all my newfound gun skills, we run into a singular door at the end of the curving hallway. It'll reach Prop Lab 01 control in dark green. I guess this is what the guy talking about. Softly murmur out loud, really more to myself than anyone else. Not really sure what to expect. Thump, 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 thump. Just as Gordon reaches for the control to open the door, it suddenly dawns on me that the pounding seems to get more and more rapid. Doubts only now flash my mind, signaling all kinds of red alerts. We probably shouldn't be doing this. Hey, wait, it's too late. The door is open, revealing the room inside. Beyond the threshold is a surprisingly colorful and well-lit room filled with a massive, ancient-looking computer lining the walls. Come on, come on! In the middle of the room sits a man, nervously fidgeting. He's wearing an orange and brown high-visibility suit, not noticing us as he prods at a glowing red button at the center of a large console that stretches underneath a very wide window. That giant swing of movement flickers in the corner of my eye. I look out the window and freeze the giant shadows cast over the room. Work, damn it! With a resounding shout, the human pounds down the button with a balled fist. Crash! The window explodes, sending glass everywhere, and a sharp green and black tentacle thing smashes into the room. Its massive claw. It's more like an insect like a little grub on a big tentacle than anything else. It's a massive tentacle, smashing and knocking over rows of gigantic machines and everything, sending us hurling in different directions and snapping the air from my lungs. I'm thrown from the harness onto the ground. Everything spins as the cascading sound of screaming gunfire and it's animalistic because it's animal. No. Oh, hold up. Let's pull it up. Please, Chappelle check. I don't really think about this word too much. Animistic. No, that's the wrong fucking word. God, I hate this fucking thing. It doesn't have enough words. Thanks, Notepad++. You know exactly 0 words. Yeah, it's just animalistic. How the fuck did you fuck this up, buddy? This is like anomaly. I guess maybe that's the point. It's supposed to be anomalous. Is that even a word? It is. And I've never seen it. Nature to be anomalous. Anomalistic. Ugh. Anomalistic groan. Thunder in a small space like some kind of deafening roar of thunder. Get off of me! Get off of me! Someone screams. I pick my head up only to watch in horror as the poor human desperately claws the ground, trying to find something to latch onto, while the giant claw thing latches onto his leg with the smaller pincers and drags him out the window. Blood splatters down the side as Gordon panically aims his entire magazine into the thing, seemingly to no effect. No! 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 The man's scream fades as the monster yanks him out from the control booth window into the chamber outside, leaving Gordon and I scattered around the remains of the room. Usually a bit of snarky remarks will take the edge off, but right now all I care about is not becoming that creature's dinner, or worse. I've seen enough things in life to know what happens when things like that gets their hands on a lady. Spurt of adrenaline, I rapidly call as fast as I can. The only form of movement I'm thankfully good with, over to where Gordon is. Pressed up tightly against the closest console is a death grip on a shotgun tightly pressed against his chest. His breathing comes in sharp, panicked huffs, eyes darting above him as the sound of metallic resonance, something banging against it now thunder at their loudest. I only get a passing glance, but it's enough. Beyond the small, shattered safety of the room, wriggles and writhes two more of those giant claw things, all of which are rising and falling against the walkways and walls outside, left gigantic scars and dents. Practically throwing myself against the console next to Gordon, I shoot him a desperate look, hoping he knows what to do. He returns the expression, so yeah, we're fucked. Great. We both break our lines of sight, looking around in some frantic hope to find a way out, or some kind of my eyes latch onto something in the ceiling, just barely visible from the angle I'm at. Stare at it for a brief yet long moment. Fixed in place with a dozen large rods and tubes looms a massive ribbed cone with smooth black inside. It's not rocket science to figure out what it is. Or is it? It's a rocket motor, or rather, a rocket, the rocket motor that the scientists outside begged us to fire. To destroy the horrible thing before it. Oh, fuck. Okay. How does one fire a rocket motor? Oh, am I kidding? It's not a giant red button. I mean, there is. Mike glanced upwards at the console directly above Gordon's head. Sure enough, there's a big red glowing button from earlier that the guy was desperately pressing. Beneath it dangles a set of keys above the word fire printed in large text. I raise it and slam it without even thinking. And nothing happens. The speaker in the corner of the room crackles to life. Beep beep. Malfunction. Main propulsion disengaged. Another electric chirp crackles out as I meet Gordon's deepening scowl. I flick out my palms, trying to silently defend my actions. Voice override cuts me off, pulling both of our attentions. Power and fuel systems. Please report status. The remaining human and I share a look. That explains why nothing happened. Before I get a chance to say anything, a massive shadow casts over both of us. Oh shit, hello, Mr. Tentacle Monster! Ah! Let's put on some cool soundtracks because it's been a bit, and I need to stay on top of the fucking soundtrack, man. I'm underselling you guys. Let's pick something from Rainbow. A nice track. Its small giblets writhe and wiggle underneath, almost like small children eager to grab onto something. My back pressed up against the console as tight as it can in an effort to make myself small. Gordon follows suit, dropping to the floor with the giant limb drifts overhead, bumping into and smashing the remains of the giant computer on either end of the room. With a commanding gesture, Gordon waits for me to follow. Following to the opposite end, I spot a small doorway with a green light, hopefully unlocked. Just the control dial, it hisses open. Then Gordon and I all but practically pounce our ways through the threshold. By the sounds of it, the thing outside must have seen us, with its resounding banging resuming and vibrating throughout the whole place as the door slides closed. Whew! I run both my hands through my hair. That was way too. Hey! Someone suddenly hisses up ahead. Crouched behind an overturned desk is the refreshing sight of a security guard. Be quiet! This thing hears us. To my surprise, his eyes remain on Gordon, not even noticing me. Maybe he doesn't care. It'd be nice if someone doesn't care. Some scientists tried to sneak down to the generator to get the rocket up and... Oh, wait. More like... This time it isn't the monster that makes noise, it's my stomach. He falls silent as his gaze falls onto me. Curse you, hunger. Great, now I can add hunger to my list of problems. Seriously, when is the last time I ate? This time Gordon just lets out that exhausted sigh, cutting off my thoughts. It's funny to see how he's finally getting how I feel about this junk. After having gone through the usual routine, I'm actually pretty good at filling in people on who and what I am. Though this time with the added touch of making clear I'm not laying eggs in anyone. That's added to the repertoire now. Some guy was worried about it. Security guard is very clearly not thrilled about my whole existence. Pretty sure the only reason he seems to tolerate me is the fact that when Gordon stands up, he places himself between the two of us. By all means, the feeling is mutual. This guy has a weird, tight-ass energy behind him. Like all the other guards that seemed caring, this guy is like the opposite. He even looked weird. He had more bony features and saggy bags under his eyes, tugging the skin loose. He should have just maybe a jerk. Whatever. The guard deters. Still not happy with being in the first place. His eyes flick back to Gordon as he waves a hand. Slowly stands up. We're going to make a break for the fuel annex, but the only way through is to the test chamber itself. You with us? Yeah, and how do you intend to get around with the small detail of the giant things outside, smart guy? Gordon and I snap at each other. Holy crap. Did I say that or think it? Oh, fuck, let's give him a good voice. Well, thanks. Really appreciate the snark from a talking alligator. But if you should ask, like I said, this thing hears us. Jumping over the desk, his hand flicks over his shoulder, gets us to follow. Sharing an apologetic look to the moving face of Gordon, I crawl behind. Electric to simply give both a bit of distance. At least until I had a small barrier as the overturned desk. Yeah, maybe I should have gotten into the harness. My buddy's at the lower level. Hopefully he should be all set to make a lot of noise and give us a distraction. I hope. The guard starts, being just loud enough from a few feet ahead of me to hear. Can't help but notice that he hesitated on that last part. He's been, taking this a bit rough. Yeah, that's the thing you like to hear. Look, let's just get up there and I'll give the signal. Gordon nods, following closely behind the guard as they make their way up to the ladder at the end of the hall. Gordon! I shout without being too loud, trying to casually inform the human of the small little bit of information that he's leaving me behind. The human passes on the ladder, sending me an uncertain look, almost as if he's silently asking if I really want to be part of the rest of this level. Because technically he will loop around to this, so there's really no reason for you to, you know. Although sometimes the guard seems to explode in the room when I fire the engine, so it might be best if you know. Honestly, I can't blame him for asking. It's not every day you wake up and think, yeah, let's go play Wipeout with a giant tentacle monster. And man, right now I'm having second thoughts about coming at all. I mean, you go down some real radioactive sections and some big electrical stuff, like in Black Mesa, it's not pretty. It's not even pretty in the original game. Deep down, though, a flutter of anxiety flares up at the idea of not being with Gordon, simply for both our safeties. Somehow it's more safe playing jockey to him and running through whatever chaos than simply sitting here waiting. Besides, what would I even do? Just sit and let my thoughts stew when I'm not going, yeah. Rather obviously point out, flashing an unimpressed look towards the human, hesitating for the briefest of seconds. He sighs and makes his way over to me. With a quick practiced motion, as I slide into the rather homely and familiar wrappings of cable. Weird how it's almost comfortable now. Weird how we haven't upgraded this whole thing. The guard gives us a confused and twisted look, but shakes it off. Baby man! Little baby man! I can't help but seriously be put off by the open doorway giving a clear view to the monster outside. Watching its 3 arms wriggle around the chamber is just weird. Okay, so the plan is there's another guard down here. I'll make a bunch of noise, get the thing's attention, and then his boot gives a firm shove to the container's lid. Possibly the greatest gift of God ever. Inside are countless rows of stacked grenades, as far as the eye can see. We're gonna blast his ass so we can make it to the fuel annex. Gimme! Ah! Ow! I hiss, rubbing my sore palm. Gordon shakes his hand, waving his open hands at the guard. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. You owe me a grenade! The walking construction sign twirls his fingers in a later motion. With a childish grunt, I slide back into my house. You fucking stupid ass 4A. What's happening? Nothing. Call your friend. Yeah, fucking weirdos. Wow, okay. Just because I'm a little baby man. Hey, LJ, it's time. Crackle walkie-talkie cuts off. My strongly worded rebuttal. Only silence meets our little corner. The guard apparently expected someone to respond. LJ! The guard repeats with a little worry in his voice. Proximity anxiety starts to flare up as the idea of the guy probably most likely being dead starts to dance in my mind. Knowing this place, yeah, he's probably dead. Hey, over here! The sound, booming shout from a different human suddenly echoes through the chamber, getting a shocked gasp of, LJ! Reaching over to the opening, I crane my neck over to try and look while Gordon hurries alongside. Across the chamber, a metallic garage door opens to reveal a disheveled-looking wreck of a security guard, his vest missing and his clothes looking torn and unbuttoned. A crazed snarl stretches wide across his features, with a primal anger to it. The gun in his hand raises up to one of the tentacles to start to swoop down. Eat this, you space octopus! The space teriyaki. Sickening sound of bone and flesh echoes throughout the chamber, silencing the seemingly meager gunshots in about a second. LJ! How much more do we got? Oh, man, we got a lot more to go than I thought. I cover the end of my maul with both of my hands as I look. What was once a panicked security guard turned to a red, mushy puddle. The other two humans in the room look out in equal shock, frozen like a pair of statues at the demise of the fallen man. You fucker! With a furious roar, the guard suddenly lurches for the opening. Only to fall into a crumpled heap as Gordon catches the back of his vest and all but practically clothesline the guy. Let's let go of that fucker! The HEV donning doctor restrains the man, while the hold off for dear life in the harness as Gordon's back jerks himself all over the place. Hey, Gordon! God damn it, stop resisting! You'll get yourself killed too! The Gordon throws off my companion's smothering presence, staggering up on his feet alongside us before jabbing and accusing fingers. What the hell do you know about that, you bitch? Oh, looks like all you do is play pretend cripple with the... A wheat meaty echo impact. Wet meaty echo impacts throughout the room. The guard spins about, collapsing up to the ground in a hopefully unconscious pile. Oh, he got smacked too? I blink once, slowly letting my gaze drift to the still outstretched fist of an HEV suit. Oh, he got punched, I guess. I blink again, the reality situation finally connects. Holy shit. Gordon, what the fuck? I shout, pressing my palms against my... He was supposed to help us! My brain finally catches up to the rest of the fucking party. Once more, I send the remaining human a shocked glance. He just punched that guy for insulting me. I'm a baby man, but I'm not your baby man. God damn it, Gordon. I mean, like, I was thinking about smacking the shit out of him too, but I'm like, seriously? Then again, thanks. I softly mutter, getting a small nod from the human as he pushes his glasses back into his nose. Seriously, how the hell does he hold on to those throughout the crappy encounter? But seriously now, what? The question, while a minor one, carries major consequences, especially considering how we have to turn on both the power and the fuel. It probably means going through the still very alive and angry tentacle thing waiting outside. Now, you technically only have to do this like twice. You can go to the midsection, and in the midsection there's like an open section of floor grate where you can fall down to the next floor. It takes some damage, but it's probably better than making the next trip. Especially in the original, where it's just fucking annoying to deal with that thing, because it follows you up the ladders, whereas in Black Mesa, it's more respectful of the sounds you make. You can climb ladders quietly. But yeah, I personally like Black Mesa's implementation of this creature a lot more. And you can just drop down from, I think, fuel and oxygen down to power. And then the second time is when you have to climb back up to the top, which is easily said and done if you're careful and quiet. Remember to crouch. It activates stealth mode, as they say in the tutorials. A silent rattle fills the room as Gordon seemingly holds the pineapple-shaped solution to me. I can't help but let out a childish gasp slip out of me as I eagerly take you off. Are you for real? Human nods with a silent smile, tugging at his lips. With basic gestures, he tries to mime out the plan. Yeah, I don't pay no attention. Too busy thinking about the fact I'm about to throw a real grenade. Walking over to the opening, the guy throws me a quick glance back. The toothy grin stretches from end to end on my snout. For this second, ignoring all my body aches and screaming of my exhausting muscles and crying out of my stomach, it's okay to pretend that, hey, shit-ass! I flick the pin off the grenade and pull my arm back. This day can only get better. I appreciate the optimism. That's it! We're done! Last update was in June. I'm sad. I'm sad that we're done. I was kind of hoping that Chapter 14 might pop up before we got to the end, but nope. What a great fic, man. Like, sure, there's a lot of little writing problems, but I much prefer having some grammatical issues and like weird word choice over the fundamental story being garbage. Because one still leaves interesting room to converse and interpret, and the other is just shit. You know, like if there's a good story to talk about, there's something to talk about. It makes it fun to read. It makes me excited to keep reading. And a couple of spelling mistakes can't ruin that mystery and intrigue. So I'm sorry. I'm sad, but yeah, we're done. This got a real Punch Drunk Gator vibe of like, I'm sad. Punch Drunk Gator is approaching, by the way, a month and a half, and it'll be 2 months non-updated. What a sad situation, man. Jesus Christ. Thank you all for coming. And remember to shoot the creator like a couple of big thumbs ups. He deserves it. They deserve it. Falling Sun 2628. What a great, stupid, fun crossover. It's great. Like it's got enough. It's got the energy, man. It's got the energy. I love it. I love it. And it's been fun to have an excuse to replay some of Half-Life. That's also great. Alexa, please play some sad music because I'm sad.